In this Parsha we have one of the the strangest stories, I think, in Chumash, which is the fact that Yitzchak Avinu sees that his end is coming, he's getting older, and so he wants to give the blessing to one of his children. We now understand that the blessing that Yitzchak Avinu was planning on passing over wasn't just, you should, bracha v'atzlacha. It was a way of choosing that son to be the heir of Avraham Avinu's spiritual legacy, that they would be the eternal people, the Jewish people. And so the strangest thing of all is that Yitzchak Avinu decides that he's going to bless Esav. Now, the Pasuk tells us that Yitzchak had an affinity to Esav, he loved Esav. It says in Pasuk, why? Ki tzayid bepiv. Because Esav was an exceptional hunter, right? Just the simple reading of the Pasuk. He was a very, very good hunter, and evidently a good cook. And so he would always hunt, game and cook it for his father Yitzchak, and Yitzchak Avinu appreciated that. So because of that, he loved Esav. Whereas Yaakov Avinu is an ish tam yoshev ha'olam. He's a simple, straightforward, honest person who's sitting in Beis Medrash learning all day, and you would think that Yitzchak Avinu would appreciate that, but in fact, the pasuk tells us that he had an affinity to Esav. And because of that, obviously, as we know the whole story, so Yitzchak plans on giving a bracha to Esav. Rivka realizes this and knows that the truth is Yaakov Avinu is one that deserves a blessing. So she convinces Yaakov to be the one to go out and get game and so on and so forth, to wear the clothing of Esav. And we all know the end of the story, that Yaakov Avinu receives the blessing from Yitzchak while he's dressed as Esav. Alright, so this whole thing needs explanation. Taka, why was Yitzchak Avinu so enamored with Esav? Why would he want to give him a blessing? He didn't know that Esav's the Rasha and Yaakov is a tzaddik. And deeper than that, and more than that, so why is it that Hashgacha Pratis, why is it that the Divine Providence made it arranged in such a way that the blessing of Yitzchak, which again means being the Jewish people and accepting upon the receiver of that blessing, accepts upon himself the responsibility and the privilege to, be the forebearer of Am Yisrael. Why did Hashgacha Pratis arrange it that the blessing should be given in such a way where Yaakov receives the blessing dressed as Esav? That's a funny thing. Okay, so let me share with you an idea. It's found in the Zohar Kodesh in Parshas Mishpatim. It's a very, very important idea in Yiddishkeit. It's like this. The Zohar Kodesh over there is describing what all of Avodas Hashem is about. Like what's a mashal that all of Avodas Hashem can be compared to. And the Zohar says that all of Avodas Hashem can be compared to a kala who puts on jewelry in order to find chen, in order to be found attractive in the eyes of her husband. That's what the Zohar compares it to. The Zohar also compares it to any time a person gives another person a present. So, for example, let's say someone's birthday, right? It's a parent, a child to parent. You give you're the one that you care about. You give them a present. The Zohar Kodesh says that a present that one gives to another person, or again jewelry that a kala puts on, there are two different types. There's something called kishut and dahavu. There's something called a present that already exists. And then there's something called kishut and dahavu, a present that doesn't exist, that never existed before, and it's completely something new. A mashal. Let's say again, it's someone's birthday, so you want to get him a card or something, right? So you go to the store, you buy a Hallmark card, right? Now that Hallmark card is the same Hallmark card that tens of thousands of people can buy for other people's birthdays, right? And the mile of that, the reason why tens of thousands of people are buying these Hallmark cards is because they're written beautifully, right? It's poetry, it's poetic, it's very much beautiful, right? So what do? You buy that Hallmark card. You didn't write it. Again, it's a standard nusach, that tens of thousands of people are using. What do? You write your name on the bottom, basically saying, I agree, right? I mean, you are the sunset of my life, whatever, the sunrise, I agree. That's what you do. And that's what everyone does. Everyone buys a Hallmark card, and you buy that. You give that Hallmark card to, again, the person that has the birthday. They appreciate it. It's great. It's kavaldik. They read the card. They like what it says. They see your name. Oh, okay. It's very nice. That's one type of birthday present. But there's another type of birthday present. What's the other type of birthday present? The other type of birthday present is, let's say, you have a kid or something that makes a present for a parent. I don't know. They probably don't do this nowadays, but like in the older times, the kids would make like an ashtray, like a Play-Doh ashtray. You know what I'm saying? They would make something of Play-Doh or something, and they would present that as the present to their parents. That's called a present that's completely new, right? It's it's custom made. It's custom made. Now, when it comes to a custom made gift, very often it's not going to be as amazing and as beautiful as the standard ones, right? So if you write your own card as a gift for a parent or a loved one for a birthday, it's not going to be as poetic as the Hallmark card. But we understand that there's something unique to that. There's a certain pleasure and a certain hiskashrus that's developed by that individualized card because it's coming from you. It's completely new. Says Zohar Kadosh, there are two types of presents. There's kshut and dahavu, presents that already have existed, and all you're doing is adding your name to the bottom of that card. And there's another type of present, which is kshut and lo yahavu, present that never existed before, that you're creating right now, something new. Says the Zohar Kadosh, these are two sides to Yiddishkeit. There's an avodas Hashem. There's a divine service that we offer up to Hashem. There are gifts that we give to God, which is called kshut and dahavu, gifts that have already existed, and all we're doing is adding our name to the bottom of that card. What is that? What's an example of that? It says you daven shachris, right? So you wake up in the morning, you daven shachris. You daven from the same siddur that you daven yesterday. The same text that your parents say, that your grandparents have said, going all the way back to Avraham Avinu, right? That's, now, when you daven shachris, that's a gift that you're offering to Hashem. It's a gift that you're giving to God. But says the Zohar Kadosh, that's called kshut and dahavu. That's called a gift that already existed. It's already existed, and all you're doing is adding your name to the bottom of that siddur, saying, I agree. That's what you're doing. And Hashem appreciates that, just like a person getting the Hallmark card certainly appreciates that. That's true with Shachris. You put on tefillin every morning. Again, it's the same pair of tefillin from yesterday. The same tefillin that, again, everyone else in the shul is putting on. So it's that Hallmark card, and it's beautiful, it's poetic, it's unbelievable. It accomplishes a great thing. And what you're doing is adding your name to the bottom, saying, I agree. And that's what you're doing every day. But says the Zohar Kadosh, there's another side to Yiddishkeit, which is called kshut and lo yahavu, jewelry or gifts that have never existed before, custom-made jewelry. And what that means is as follows: every single neshama, before it comes down to this world, is given a number of tasks. Right? It's given responsibilities. Before the neshama comes down, Hashem and the heavenly court tells the neshama, you're going to go, and I expect from you every day, to daven shachris, put on tefillin, to give tzedakah, to learn, to do the standard Hallmark card presents. But that same neshama, Hashem Yisparach also charges that neshama with the responsibility and the privilege of creating in his lifetime, in his or her lifetime, presents that have never existed before. And that means that before a person comes to this world, Hashem Yisparach arranges that there are certain tests, there's certain nisyanis, there are certain experiences, certain environments that no one else ever has experienced other than you. Everyone has their own, it's an amazing thing how life works, right? There are certain things that we all share in common, right? But at the same time, we all have very, very individualized and specific lives, and there are certain nisyanis that one person has that no one else can really, can relate to, because it's specifically theirs. The reason why Hashem puts a person in such situations of having such uniquely designed, experiences and tests, quote unquote, is because what Hashem is expecting, what Hashem is looking forward to in that person, is to somehow take that unique environment that they're put in, their unique situation, their unique background, their unique perspective in life, and to create from that environment a present for Hashem that never existed before. It never existed before. That's the other side of Yiddishkeit, kshut and lo yahavu. Kshut and lo yahavu, gifts and presents and jewelry that never existed before, custom made. Now here's an amazing thing. Which type of present creates a greater reaction to the receiver of that present? Again, the birthday boy. The birthday boy appreciates both types of gifts. But we know that Hashem created the human being with a certain quality, which is that there's a certain type of pleasure, there's a certain level of excitement that a person feels when they come in contact with something new, right? When you experience something new, a new experience, you see something for the first time, you taste a food that you never tasted before for the first time. If the food tastes good, then you'll enjoy it always. But the first time you taste it, there's a certain level of tanug, there's a certain level of pleasure and excitement that's aroused, that's awakened when you experience a chiddush, when you experience something new. So these two sides of Yiddishkeit, we have a mission, we have a side of us there's a side of Yiddishkeit that we're charged with what? With doing the same things that everyone else does. And that's our responsibility. Buy that Hallmark card, put your name in the bottom of it. That's your responsibility as well. But when Hashem receives that type of card, it certainly evokes pleasure, and Hashem is happy with it. Certainly. It's a gift. But it doesn't evoke the level of excitement that happens when you experience something new. But that other side of Yiddishkeit, which is our obligation and our ability to create from our own personalized experiences something new for Hashem that no one else in the universe before or after will ever be able to present. It could be the thing itself that we're offering up is not as amazing, it's not as poetic as the Hallmark card, but it's new. And when Hashem Yisbarach experiences, just like each and every one of us, when you experience something new, it evokes a tremendous amount of excitement. So let's go to the Parsha. Yitzchak Avinu wants to give over that mission of Avodas Hashem to one of his children, right? He sees his two children, Esav and Yaakov, right? Yitzchak Avinu understood that there's a difference between Esav and Yaakov. Of course, he knew that Yaakov is Ishtam, Yoshev Olam. Yaakov Avinu is the simple, straightforward person who's sitting and learning in the tents of the Beis Medrash of Avram Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Shem Ve'ever. He's learning Torah all day. He knows that. And what is Esav doing? Esav is going out there to the fields and capturing prey every single day, something new. Right? That's Esav. Esav is an expert hunter. Esav is someone that knows how to go and capture new things. Esav is someone who puts himself in situations, new environment, new experiences, and doesn't find himself in the cocoon, in the isolation of the Beis Medrash. And of course, Yitzchak Avinu realizes that because of the environment that Esav is found in, he's not as big of a Talmid Chacham, he's not as big of a tzaddik as Yaakov, his brother. He knows that. But Yitzchak Avinu was hopeful. Yitzchak Avinu was hopeful that his two children would be able to carry on his legacy in the following way. The Yaakov Avinu's responsibility, his role in Yiddishkeit would be what? His role in Yiddishkeit would be to do the side of Yiddishkeit which is the Hallmark card. The Hallmark card. Yaakov Avinu is Ishtam Yoshev Olam. He's learning the Beis Medrash. He's learning the same stuff Avram was learning. Yitzchak is learning Shem Ve'ever. That's the side of Yiddishkeit, the standard stuff. The standard things that you do every day in, day out, the same Torah, everyone's learning the same Gemaras that everyone else is learning. That's the side of Yiddishkeit that Yitzchak wanted to give over to Yaakov Avinu. His idea was never to, Yaakov Avinu was completely kicked out of Yiddishkeit. No, he understood that Yaakov has his role. What's Yaakov's role? Yaakov is going to be the one who's going to offer up to Hashem jewelry that already exists. But he had unbelievable hopes for Esav. His hopes for Esav was that Esav is going to be the one who has the schus to offer up to Hashem delicacies that never existed before. Yaakov is going to be the one putting on the same tefillin every day. And Esav is going to be the one being put in environments and experiences that are completely new and completely custom-made for him to somehow find his way in those places, to figure out a way how to serve Hashem from those places, from those experiences, and by doing so offering up to Hashem matamim, beautiful delicacies that has never been tasted before. That was his hope. This is what it means, kitzai bepiv, the fact that Yitzchak Avinu saw in Esav his ability to hunt. But again, hunting is you catch prey today, and you need to catch prey tomorrow for the second meal. Every day is new. Every day is new. And you go to the field and you capture prey, you bring in delicacies. It's not like go to the fridge and have leftovers. There's no leftovers. Every day is something new. That's the side of Yiddishkeit that Yitzchak Avinu was hoping in Esav. What ended up happening? What ended up happening is that obviously Rivka knew better, and knew that Esav is not up for that. And so what ended up happening? Yaakov receives the blessing, but not just Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov receives the blessing dressed as Esav. What that means is the following: that what that established going forward means that both these sides of Yiddishkeit, the jewelry that already exists, and the other side, the jewelry that never existed before, what Yaakov Avinu receiving the blessing dressed up as Esav means is that these two sides of Yiddishkeit have to be brought together. Which means that we have to be able to find innovative ways to serve Hashem. We have to be able to find unique, individualized, experiences and perspectives to give new gifts to God within the construct and within the confines of the format of regular Yiddishkeit. That's the idea. In other words, not to make the following mistake, that, I'll put on tefillin, I'll daven shachris, the standard stuff, but then I'll come up with like completely new ideas of mitzvahs, completely new ways of serving Hashem in new environments. That would be Yaakov on one side and Esav on the other. But the fact that Yaakov means standard, receives that blessing dressed as Esav, wearing the clothes of Esav, means that the beauty of Yiddishkeit is that one is able to find a way of expressing one's unique individual identity within the framework and the construct of just a religion that we all share in common. So, for example, it says in the Mishnah that Ratzak Kadosh Baruch Hu Zakas Es Yisrael. It's a famous statement, right? That Hashem wanted to give merit to the Jewish people. Therefore, L'fichach Hirba Torah mitzvahs, Hashem gave us many Torah mitzvahs, right? So you have many opportunities to serve Hashem. So the commentaries ask, what does that mean? That's not necessarily good. With more mitzvahs comes more possibilities of messing up. So he wants to do good for us. He gives us a lot of mitzvahs. Yeah, but that means a lot of averos too, right? So you know what the Svarim say? The Svarim say, Hirba Lehem Torah mitzvahs doesn't mean that he gave us quantitatively more mitzvahs. It means that each mitzvah is expansive. It means that each mitzvah is wide enough that every person can find themselves in the mitzvah. So you can have a number of people all davening the same shachris, right? They're all saying the same words. But when you have these, let's say, two people, both saying the words Rafa'enu, right? Asking Hashem for refuah. But each person, they're saying the same text, but what they mean with those words, and the level of emotion that and personalized, and their personality that they're investing in those words are very, very different. One person is coming from a day where that bracha Rafeinu means a lot, and it means something very personal to him. Maybe he knows someone that's not healthy, and then you have another person saying the word Rafeinu. Doesn't necessarily mean something personal to him. He's davening for just the general refuah for people that are sick out there, and so on and so forth. Every mitzvah that the Torah gave us, even though it sits with a certain format, and we all sort of do it the same way, but they're wide enough, they're deep enough that you could find yourself in it. That's the mystery of Yaakov Avinu receiving the blessing while wearing the clothing of Esav. So, for example, there's a mitzvah of being honest, right? Of being honest. But every situation that you personally find yourself in, of being confronted with the possibility of not being honest, is unique to you. Is unique to you. And when you deal with that situation and you come out the other end honest, then that's, on the one hand, a standard gift, because it's just being honest like everyone should be, but it's also very, very unique because no one else was ever able to do that mitzvah of keeping oneself honest in that particular way. So let's say, for example, you wake up in the morning and you're tired, right? So, and then you push yourself and you get to shul, you go daven, right? So there's a certain level of that mitzvah that everyone shares in common. Everyone is tired in the morning. It's normal. And everyone understands that, and everyone deals with that level of test, and you push yourself to get over it. But there's also there's something unique to that, because maybe there's another reason why you're tired that's unique to you. Maybe you have an issue facing God for whatever reason. Maybe there's something in your personal life that's holding you back from getting out of bed. B'chlal. So that new sign of getting out of bed, that's standard. But within that standardized gift called getting out of bed, there's room for your unique personalized gift as well. That's the beauty of Yiddishkeit. And so a person has this responsibility of finding yourself within Yiddishkeit, of finding particular mitzvahs that speak to you, finding particular ways of expressing yourself in mitzvahs. And then when you do that, you're like Yaakov Avinu dressed as the clothing of Esav, giving to Hashem old gifts that are also very, very new. I'll end with a quick story. They say this again. It's one of these stories you have to believe or you don't believe. It's one of those things. So Baal Shem Tov, it was Matzei Simchas Torah. Baal Shem Tov said the following story. He said to his Chassidim, I want to tell you what happened Simchas Torah morning in Shemayim. What was going on? He said, okay, what was happening? So he said, Simchas Torah night, the night of Simchas Torah, people dance very late. They're tired usually the next morning, and so people come to shul a little bit late. That's a standard thing. So minyan, instead of starting 9 o'clock, it starts 9:15. Right. So 9 o'clock comes in Shemayim, and the Malachim are waiting, waiting for the minyan to start. As the Gemara says that the Malachim can't sing shir, they can't daven until we start davening. So they're sitting around waiting. So the Malachim look down, they ask each other, like, what's going on? So one of the Malachim says, okay, the Jews were dancing very late last night, they're tired, so they're coming late to shul. Okay, fine, they're coming late. So the Malachim, Baal Shem Tov said the Malachim are sitting around to each other, we have 15 minutes to kill us. What do we do? What should we do? So they have the idea, they'll clean the base measures, they'll clean Gan Eden, they're going to do some spring cleaning. Okay. So they go around with a broom and sweep to sweep the floors, and when they do this, every once in a while, Baal Shem Tov said, they usually find on the floor like a ripped tzitzis, maybe a piece of shamus from a sitter, something that ripped, stuff like that. But they're going around sweeping the floor, and they're seeing like a random shoe, and wrappers from candies, and like a shoelace that's on the like strange things. And so you ask each other, like, what's going on? What's this about? As Baal Shem Tov said, they eventually go to the Malach Michal, one of the biggest Malachim, and the Malach Michal explains that these are all the pieces that you found in the shul are all the pieces that came off of shoes and candies and stuff from dancing Simchas Torah the previous night. And so the Malachim asked Michal, so what should we do with this? Should we throw in the garbage? Shamus that we usually collect, we put into shamus, but what do we do with a ripped shoe? So the Malach Michal said, no, don't throw it in the garbage. I'm going to give it to me. I'm going to do something very special with it. Okay, fine. So he takes all this stuff, and he starts taking glue, whatever it is, and he's putting together from all these ripped shoelaces and candy wrappers. He's making a crown. And so the Malachim say to Michal, you lost your mind. Like, what are you doing? So he said, no, you don't understand. The Malach Michal said, the biggest Malach that exists in all worlds is the Malach that's called Malach Matat. That's his name, Matat. And he said, the Malach Michal said that every single day the Malach Matat has the schus of taking all the tefillas and all the mitzvahs that Klal Yisrael does, all the standard stuff, the tefillin, shachris, mincha ma'ariv, and the Malach Matat takes all those mitzvahs and makes a crown for Hashem every single day. But he said, the Malach Michal said, but today I have an opportunity to make a crown for Hashem that's completely new and completely unique, and it's going to be greater than any crown that Malach Matat ever made. And that's going to be the crown that I'm making from all the candy wrappers and all the shoelaces that ripped off and fell off in shul from Simchas Torah night. That's what Baal Shem Tov said. That's the Chiddush. Hashem has two crowns. Hashem gets a crown from all the standard things that we do, the Hallmark cards, but Hashem has another crown that Hashem receives from all the unique situations and nisyanis that we find ourselves in, and we persevere and we do the right thing. And which crown does Hashem have more pleasure with? So as we said before, a chiddush, when a person experiences something new, it creates a tremendous amount of pleasure. So Hashem Yisbarach should help. Hashem Yisbarach should help that we should be zaycha to accept that gift that Hashem has given us with simcha, that responsibility and that zchus that we have to offer up these types of crowns to the Borei Olam, to be able to find ourselves, and to express ourselves uniquely within the framework of Yiddishkeit in a healthy, holistic way. Hashem Yisbarach should help that we should be zaycha to give Him nachas ruach.
Hashem, thank you, Hashem. Thank